Hello, thank you for tuning into this week's reads. This is James13 Wicca on YouTube, just in case you're wondering where the video came from. The main part of the read, I'm going to use the Thelema Tarot. And where's the name? I thought there was a name who created it on here. Just completely blanked. Renata Lechner. It's on here on this side, I believe. And if you want to find this deck, there's the website loscarabeo.com, LOSCARABEO.com. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. For the tarot, for the oracle cards, magical spell cards by Lucy Cavendish, illustrated by Jesse Reish, and at the bottom there's hayhouse.com. Feel free to check that out if you're interested. And I use dice. I use a 21-sided dice, which does omit the 0, but that's what I use for the major arcana. I use a 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and a 4-sided dice to pick the suit. I want to say that the bigger dice came with this. Tom Anders, hopefully it's there. I want to say it's impactminiatures.com. There's this on the back too, if that's easier for you to use. Feel free to use that. And for the smaller dice, the 14-sided one, it's Math Art Fun, if I can get this behind there. mathartfun.com, if you're interested to find that. And the little pink one I use is, I think it's from Amazon. I've had it for years. Alright, so that's what we have for that. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you for watching, and now on to your read. Hello, Capricorn. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Capricorn? I'm like slamming it down. What's that about? Okay, the foundation we like. Do we like the rest of this is a question we'll get into. So, when I was shuffling, I kept getting this, like, uneven piles, things that won't shape up, things that seem to not balance no matter what I seem to do with it. Like, what is going on here? So, I think this could be one of those things where it's frustrating, but it's kind of like, is there a way to, like, get out of this pattern? It feels like a very frustrating pattern. I keep getting, like, uneven piles, and it's kind of like they're supposed to be even, and I'm like, it's aggravating. It's kind of like, I feel like there's people around this situation looking at this, and they're like, I don't know why it doesn't work out right. And the way you're looking at it is because you're not dealing it out correctly. It's kind of like we're all playing a card game. You're giving everybody different amounts of cards, and everybody should have the same amount of cards, and then we can play correctly and figure out what we need to do, but we're not doing this right. And the more I try to fix it, the more you people mess it up. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of salt, because I feel like what we want, if this is happening, this reading hopefully is going to help you get closer to, like, sorting this out, because like I feel like this is what this one's going to be about. It's a mess, and it's like you keep trying to sort it out because you're invested, and it's gone well before. It has gone well before. Why is it not going well now? Like, what has changed? Or was it about to change? Maybe that's something we need to be aware of. What's about to change? The Wheel of Fortune shows up. Earth energies tend to not care for that Wheel of Fortune. And, you, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, tend to not like that. Actually, Cancer tends not to like it either, if I remember right. Let's see. This is something that, like, I have not been allowed to hold on to it the way I wanted to. The Wheel of Fortune showed up, and this is one of those situations where if I hold it too tight, it's kind of like if you think about holding an animal. You hold it too tight, you're going to damage it, and that's not something you want. Especially if you're an animal lover, you don't want to hurt the animal. So you can't hold it too tight. But if you hold it too loose, You're like, okay, I gotta let it kind of graze around where it is. I try to keep it in some type of boundaries, but like I can't hold it all day, and I seem to realize I can't hold it all day, so I try to keep it within certain boundaries. But if that little animal, like if this is the wheel turning, if that little animal finds a way out of the boundaries, they dig under a fence or they get out a window or whatever they do, it's kind of like, uh-oh, now I have to go find them. But now they have a chance for damage because I can't protect them. They got outside of the boundaries. It feels kind of like that. Take it with a grain of salt, of course. And I've been trying to keep it together. Other people seem to have been helping you, but it's like the situation. I keep getting this thing about piles. Like there's 6 piles and they're supposed to be even, and it really aggravates me that they're not even. It's like for some reason it's really getting under my skin. Like I feel like this is 101, people. This is 101 procedure. They should all be even. All these piles should be even. And the more I try to make them even, it's not happening. This is something I've had to step back from because I feel like if this is actually hitting, if this reading is hitting, there's this random energy, this Wheel of Fortune thing going on. It's kind of like, it just makes me angry. I can't keep it together. I want to. It's not because I can't, it's because I don't have people working with me. So I shouldn't say, it's like not like you can't keep it together. It's like, I don't have the support I need to keep it together. And it's very, this is the conflict card. And you're doing very well, is what I'm also getting, if this is hitting, trying to kind of keep up with it. You're doing your best to keep up with it. The random energy is a lot. You're rolling with it the best you can. You really are. You're trying to be creative. You're trying to find different ways to handle things. Like, it's kind of like, I use the animal example, but if it was like a child, for example, and they're just like all over the place, you just got to do what you can do. You're not going to be like, oh, I give up, hope the kid lives, but I'm not going to worry about it. You're not going to do that. You know what I mean? You're not going to just throw your hands up and like, kid isn't listening to me anyway, hope it lives, bye. You're not going to do that. So it's like something that's really important to you. If this reading is hitting, it's really important. It's kind of like, I have to keep on it. I have to keep my eyes on it. Doing the best you can with it. Is this an evolution thing? Do we like this? Hold on. The situation could end up going in a better direction. Could. 10 of Pentacles reversed, the loss of a foundation. The Hermit card, half in, half out, which is kind of like half-baked thoughts. You know, if you think about a bread that's half-baked, it's kind of like, I mean, who wants to, I don't know. Most of the time, doughy bread is not something most people would care for. So it's kind of like, no, I want fully cooked bread, thank you. But for example, if we have like most of it's cooked, it's just the very center isn't cooked, maybe we can use the ends. We're still not happy that we couldn't use all of it because we should be able to. But for whatever reason, it's almost like somebody took it out of the oven too soon, went on a picnic, and then when we're cutting it up at the picnic, it's like, well, at least we can use about half of it, but we should have been able to use the whole thing. It's kind of like one of those things. Which also adds to the aggravation, because I feel like if something like this is happening, the first thing that will pop into your mind is like, well, if we did it the way we were supposed to, if we kept those piles in order like we were supposed to, if we kept on things like we were supposed to. And it's kind of like, I'm trying not to have a fit about it, but I want to have a fit about it. I feel like you're doing well. I feel like I'm like holding it together, but I'm just like, it's annoying. I'm sort of amused, but not. I feel like I have to force myself to be amused with it, because if I'm not amused with it, it doesn't go well. So I do the best I can. I don't know, take that with a grain of salt. I don't know if that's me just trying to deal with the energy I'm feeling, or if that's something you might be handling. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments, because it feels like a lot. It's kind of like, this shouldn't be like this. This could have been better, but people are not, getting in line like they should. People are not helping me sort out these things like they should. Therefore, we're having these outcomes. We're having these situations. And it is frustrating. You're doing your best with it, though. There's a lot of healing, and there's some good energy coming in. I feel like we have to hit this moment going forward, because there's a moment coming. And there's opportunity for healing that's here, and then they got the health card coming in with the temperance card. The temperance card just keeps moving, and it just keeps trying to get things to go forward. It doesn't always move in the right direction, but over time, it kind of, if it has like some boundaries to bounce off of course, it keeps going in the right direction. It's kind of like we want to end up on the West Coast, for example. If we stay between the boundaries and keep moving in that direction, it can be a good energy, maybe not ideal, but still good. But if it's going every direction in the book and it's just we don't know where we're ending up. We're ending up in the mountains. We're like, no, this isn't the coast, this is the mountains, and we don't even know which mountain range we ended up in. That's not so good. This does have the potential for healing. This does have the potential for things to go better. At this point, we're going to hit this moment. I'm going to use that bread analogy again. It's like we're looking at the bread. It's kind of like half this bread we couldn't use, and we might as well throw it out because, and I feel like a Capricorn would hate that, but kind of like it's kind of ruined now. For whatever reason, we can't keep cooking it. So we used what we could, we had to get rid of what we can't, and I don't like wasting things. I feel that energy real strong. When this moment comes up, there's a moment we have to talk about this. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is like, a lot of times people relate to her as if she's brutal. She can be, but she has control. Don't get caught up in the gender. This is a person who has control. If this person believes that it needs to come forward a little bit sharper, it will. If they feel like they need to have a little bit more finesse or a little bit more, dare I say, coddling, you really don't get that much with the Queen of Swords. But if it feels like that's how we get to a better resolution, that can happen. Doesn't mean it will. Can, though. This person has control of communication. Because we're looking at something here where people don't like the outcome. People are like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? How did we have that outcome? How come that bread was only half baked? They're really like feeling like at a loss, and they're really upset. It's like it really shocked them with that Tower card. And your energy is going to be like, really? You're shocked? Really? You don't understand how that happened? Well, let me tell you. Well, let me tell you, because I'm going to tell you. Again, there's an opportunity for healing here, but it's all about how you bring that information forward. Take this with a grain of salt, because the first thing they're saying is like, don't just go into your normal energy. Just don't handle this like you normally do. This is ironic, but this is your card, the Devil card. That's the Capricorn card. It's kind of like, well, boundaries were crossed, and when you cross the boundaries that were never meant to be crossed, you fall off the cliff and you break your face. That's how that happened. We want to be careful we don't bring it forward that way. I understand why you'd want to. I mean, there's a lot of frustration here. It makes total sense. But there's a different way to bring forward the energy with the same impact and same honesty. So we got the Four of Swords, healing, and the Sun card is very possible going this other direction. This situation shaping up and doing what it should be. How do we get that to go forward in a way that's realistic for Capricorn? Like, I don't feel like Capricorn's one to go, oh, it's okay, we can do it this way next time, and just kind of smile and nod about it. And that's not the Capricorn energy I understand. And we're very Capricorn heavy in my family. When Capricorn really has something to say, you're going to hear it. And if it's built up, they're going to say it with force. That's what I've noticed anyway. This is how to handle it. This is ironic because it's going to seem like that's kind of similar, but it's different. We want to acknowledge the failure. We want to acknowledge the unhappy outcome. But we want to position ourselves. Remember, you have control of this communication. You have control here. You do have control, and I feel like you know that. The need to be indulgent and just rip people's heads off is really strong here because you're aggravated and you are justifiably angry. Justifiably, and you know that. But we want this to go better. It's kind of like, where are we versus where I want to be, and how do we get where I want to be? If we just rip people's heads off, I don't feel like we're going to have a healing. I don't think we're going to have the change we need. So how do we talk about this? Well, we talk about the outcome, and I feel like we're very careful about, all right, how do we talk about this? Because it's like things are stuck, right? We need people to figure it out. We need to not tell them as much as direct them where to look. So we need them to figure it out. We need them to build their own foundation, kind of and see it, and to see it for what they did and what they didn't do. Oh, the bread didn't work out right. Well, okay, who was in charge of that? So-and-so. Okay, well, what happened with that? Well, they didn't get the ingredients in time. Oh, who was in charge of getting the ingredients? Oh, this person. Okay, well, why didn't they get those ingredients in time? Well, they didn't get the list in time. Oh, who was in charge of that list? You were. Wait, I did get that list. I put it where I said I was going to do. That list had been there for a while. Oh, yeah, well, I gave that list to this person instead of the person who needed it. Oh, so you had your hand in it. So I had that list. I put that here. I said it was for this person. You took it upon yourself to take that list. Why did you take that? Well, I thought I could just do it for them. Did you do that? Well, no, but it wasn't my job anyway, so that's okay. Is it though? Because you got involved, and then the person who needed that didn't get the information until later, and that slowed everything down. When the person who was supposed to bake the bread put it together, they were short half an hour. They had to take it out early. We just got stuck with what we had because things didn't work out the way they should have. It's kind of like we want to kind of like get people to talk about what they did and how things worked out and why the choices they made were the choices they made. If we just kind of like flat out say that, y'all people aren't listening and you're not communicating correctly, I just feel like it just, we need them to walk back. We need them to walk the path backwards and decide like, okay, why did you make this decision? Okay, why did you make that decision? Okay, what was supposed to go here? Okay, why did that not happen? We need to walk back and just like really start dissecting, like not in a, we want to try to do this in a non-blaming way if possible. If possible. Because we need to take something from the Seven of Cups. Like people seem to not get it. This can be a fantasy card. It can be too many options sometimes. It can be a lot of options. I'm getting too many options for this reading. This is something where people are not paying attention. They're not realizing what's really going on. There's so much going on around them that they're just a little bit like boggled. They're mind boggled. Like, oh, things are happening. Unless it's in front of me, I don't know what's going on. We need to kind of get them to kind of like focus a little more and kind of be more accountable. It would probably be very helpful if they would pay attention to Capricorn a little bit more and realize that Capricorn is trying to create a structure so that we can all have success. I'm having a minute about it. I really am. If they do that and we can get them to walk backward on that path and realize, oh, we went all the way backwards and we see like, oh, we didn't follow things the way we were supposed to. And then we can actually, after we've gone all the way back to the beginning of that path, you can walk them through, well, if this went this way, we could have done that. And if we did this and maybe that didn't work out correctly, we wanted to go to store A, but we found out, oh, store A is closed or didn't have what we needed. We did still have more than enough time to go to store B and still get it. Blah, 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 blah. And as you go forward, after you go all the way backwards, and then you walk them forwards and kind of like, if we did this way, and if we stayed to the plan here, and if we stayed to the plan there, blah, 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 and we would have had more than enough time. Not only would we have had that bread, we would have 2 hours extra to make sure that that bread had its most optimal time to rise, most optimal time to bake, and enough time to cool so we could easily make sandwiches and enjoy it the way we wanted to originally. And I feel like when you go all the way back and just get them, you have to get them to walk back themselves, and you need them to kind of realize and acknowledge themselves, like, oh, that's why I did that, or oh, that's why I did this. When you walk backwards on the path, we don't want to tell them the answers. No. We want them to see it, and we need them to acknowledge their own issues. Then when we get back to the beginning, then you walk them through how it could have gone and why that would have been better. I feel like I got a tinge of like a little bit of something. They need some guidance in this situation, and I feel like you're the guidance they need. But they need to understand the value of you before the guidance. Like they need to understand, like, you're not just here to have fun and just skip and sing all day. You have purpose, and you have rules, and you have ways to work things out that can work. And it's kind of like some of these people might be more self-sufficient on their own. If they were doing the whole thing from soup to nuts on their own, that would be a different story. But when we're working with a bunch of people, we need order, we need organization, we need to follow the plan, and we need to adhere to deadlines. If we're all going to work together, this is something, the structure is needed for that success to happen. And Capricorn has it. I don't know. I have a tinge. I don't mean to, but I can't get rid of it. I don't know what to tell you. Once we get there, I feel like we're going to realize, okay, this is what we've created so far, and this is how we've been working. We're going to realize we're going to have to put in some work. That's 3, yep. We're going to have to put in some work to change some behaviors and to make people more accountable and to realize that they need to keep more accountable. Well, when we walked backwards on that path, you shouldn't be the only one, and I don't think you will be, that takes this really seriously, and it won't be just you trying to get people to stay the course and stay to the plan and stay to the structure. Other people are going to be like, listen, I don't want that outcome again. You need to do this. Capricorn said this is the way to do it, and you know what? We tried to do it all our own way before, and we got it just didn't work. Stick to the way Capricorn says, because I'm showing up for an outcome that I want, not one that I just get stuck with. So do it the way Capricorn said, and other people should be backing you up in some version. The longer it goes, the better, the more you get some better decisions from other people. Is this going to be perfect? Not likely. Is this going to be noticeably better? It's kind of like if you're looking at it like a test score, if we may. Say, like when I went to school, I swear it was like 70, 75 was passing, but in some places it was 65, depending on what you're doing. Say we were just like making it like this test score was hitting like 40, 45. We should be hitting 80. We should be bouncing between 75 and 85 is what we should be doing. 75 to 80, 75 to 80. Okay, 75 to 80. I'd like it to be better. But instead of having a 40 to 45 score on this test, we're getting a 75 to 80, which is much more acceptable for the situation. Is it perfect? No. Is it good enough? It's better. It's passing. I feel like they're just kind of like trying to set you up more realistically. Like, is it going to be perfect? No. No. I don't think you'd believe that it would be at this point anyway. But after everything you've been through, if this reading is hitting, after everything you've been through, it's kind of like, you know what, I'll take the 75 to 80 versus what we were doing. I'll take it. It'll work. Better things, better decisions. Is it going to be easy every step of the way? Definitely not. And every now and then we're going to kind of have to like hold some people's feet to the fire about it. Like, listen, we're doing this differently because we don't want bad outcomes. It'll happen. And there should be some support. The longer you go, the more support you should have. So let's see how it evolves. Are we good? We're good. All right, so I think that went well. I think it did. It felt better at the end, so hopefully we can get there and things can go better for you, hopefully. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.